What's going on, everybody? Sambo here. Welcome back to Semivostok. Today is the day we are finally filling in basically the last area for the whole city. So this area that we're looking at right here, it's one of the, really big significant areas that is just needing to be filled in. And then basically by the end of this video, Semivostok is practically done. Anything else beyond this video will kind of just be like extra add-on. So let's go have a look at how we go from this to this. Let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, I just want to tell you guys a little bit of a change that I've done. So originally the highway just went straight through, but I thought let's break it up a little bit and put some land above it. So now we can actually build over the highway. And the reason why I did that is because I didn't like how all of our buildings just stopped at the highway line. So I wanted to bring the buildings a little bit over to the other side just to break that up a little bit. Now this road here that we're doing originally just went straight through, but obviously we've got a hill there now. So we need to continue this around because it is quite important, because it is directly going to the hospital and the highway. So it's a really important connection for all of the ambulances and, I don't know, probably emergencies or whatever. So wanted to have that road. We also have this other main road going through here which goes directly to the highways. So we'll come back to that, but that road I will try not to add on too many connections on there, just because, like I said, it is going directly to the highway and down basically into the city. So we don't want to break that up too much. We don't want to add too many disruptions. Now in terms of design, I'm keeping it pretty wavy. We do have a lot of different terrains to deal with, which I actually love because it makes it really interesting. So we have several different levels to work with. And yeah, it's really different from a grid. Like, it's really just wavy and wonky. Now this road that I'm doing here, I'm not going to connect it up from this side to the other side, because if I connected it to either side, cars would probably drive through there and basically bypass the big intersection that was down there to the left. So yeah, I'm not going to add in certain connections just because I want the cars to follow along all of our 4-lane roads, just so they don't go through the smaller roads, because those smaller roads are supposed to be where all of the residential streets are and where it's supposed to be just quieter. So we don't want to add on too many cars. And you notice just then I moved the blimp station away, because this is going to be a big residential area. There's going to be a lot of residential apartments, towers, and some commercial as well. So we needed to move that blimp station away to the other side, and down in that end we do already have some commercial and offices, so they don't really care if there's any noise pollution associated with the blimp station. So then I also put in some other buildings down there that don't really care about the noise pollution factor on that. Yes, okay, so like I said, lots of different little areas to work with, which is really, really cool, makes it really interesting. One thing I should mention is the monorail station that I put in off camera. Now, usually a monorail station, they create a lot of noise in the game. In real life, they're not very noisy, but in the game, for some reason, they're super, super noisy. So I actually adjusted the settings of the monorail station with the, I think it's the Customize It mod, and I set the noise pollution to very, very low. So it was set at 100, which is really high. So I think I set it down at like 1. So it won't actually disrupt any of the surrounding residents in the area, because there are going to be a lot of residents right nearby to the monorail station. So we need to take care of those guys, even if they are low socioeconomic, even if they are poorer. I still wanna look out for those guys as well. So this is our new little area up here, and I'm actually really glad that I built the terrain over the top of it, because it really changes the whole look of the city, and it makes it look like there's like urban growth and urban sprawl, and it's spilling out over into the mountains and things like that. Instead of just making it stop all at one point, it's kind of just spreading out, and it looks so much better, honestly. I also just wanted to throw in a couple of education facilities. So we have the elementary school here, and then we also throw in a really big high school down here next to the blimp station. Now I don't put it right up right up next to it, I leave some space because it's good to have some green space with your schools, your high schools and whatever, just because like when the kids come out to play or when they have lunch, they want to come out into the grass or whatever. So I always make sure I do like little hedges to kind of, you know, just show that this is like the school grounds and that you got trees and seating areas and things like that. But this whole area, I'm not really going to go into too much detail with it, just because this whole area, it's kind of just like a filler, you know what I mean? It doesn't really have anything special that's going to bring us back and make us want to really look at it in depth, you know what I mean? So it's really just a filler, and it's one of the last areas that is left in the city, so I just wanted to get it done and, you know, just get Sammy Vostok done and, you know, just see what kind of goes from there, because we've been doing the city for how long? Like over a year or something? I don't know. It's been way too long, but it is a big city. Population is 200,000, which is pretty good. Of course you can, I mean, I've done bigger cities in the past, but it gets a little bit too laggy for me because I have a lot of trees, especially a lot of bushes and things like that. So if I didn't have all of those, we could do probably a really huge city. If I did like a big desert city, which didn't have any trees, maybe I could, you know, do a really huge population. But I think 200,000 is a pretty good size. I think the shape of the city, how it is now, fits in really well with the terrain, because if we were going to expand, we'd have to go really up the side of the mountain, which probably would look a little bit, I don't know, just not really what I want to do. So yeah, just finishing it off here, and basically anything else that we add on to Sammy Vostok will literally just be the add-ons. It won't be the essential fill-ins like we're doing in this video right here. So there's going to be a really big mixture of residential buildings. So we're going to have some really high ones, we're going to have some really low ones, we're going to have new ones, old ones. It's really going to be a mixture of an area. But it actually turns out to be one of my favorite areas, just because it's really wavy, it's wonky, it's hilly, and it's just got a lot going on in such a small area. Because if you compare this to just doing a grid, this is going to have so much more in it, and so much more little things to look at, and it just makes it really interesting to me just to go in and just see everything and just see how everything's going. Yeah, so like I said, lots of different styles of buildings. So there's some old ones here. We got the really typical Russian long buildings there, but there's going to be some more brighter ones, some really huge capacity, low capacity, a really big mixture. We also are going to put in a big park space, and I was going to do some more pathways connecting it through the whole area, but I thought since this is it's supposed to be an older area of the city, even though we're building it last, but I mean, it's supposed to be an older area of the city, and the older areas, I try not to put in too many pathways because it wasn't really a focus back in the olden days too much to have pathways connecting everything, because you know, they just drove or whatever. So that you won't find too many pathways throughout this build, only just some really small ones connecting roadsides to other roadsides and buildings and things like that. When I'm placing all of my buildings, I do make sure they follow the shape of the road. So, and then the road obviously will follow the shape of the land. And I think that's why a lot of my cities, they look realistic, because in real life, your roads follow the shape of the terrain, your buildings follow the shape of the road. So really just do that in your cities, you guys, because it really makes such a huge difference. Instead of just doing a huge, big, boring grid. It's boring, right? Grids are boring. Not always, but I mean, in general, they're boring, because if that's all you're going to do, no, thank you. So yeah, follow the shape of the land, follow the shape of the road, use the Move It mod to move everything into shape. Yeah, it just makes a huge difference, and it looks really awesome. So you can see now we have a big variety of buildings, so big, small, and these ones up here are actually really huge, because they're the two huge buildings that are connected, and then they also have a bit of a park space out back as well. So these would be probably like more modern, I guess, in comparison to everything else that we're doing, because all of these other buildings that I put here, they're really old, smaller style ones. So in my mind, I like to kind of envision that these larger buildings were just completed, because originally this would have been a low, like maybe 4-level style buildings up here, and then they suddenly shot up these huge big, what's that, like 15-story ones. But yeah, I really like it. It's a nice comparison, and just it works well with the whole city. So this little triangle here, I'm just going to throw in some offices. It's really a nothing area, but I thought maybe we just need to have something in there anyway, instead of just putting in trees. Let's make use of it. And these guys probably wouldn't be too worried by the noise pollution from the blimps coming in. I don't think I turned the blimps back on. Maybe I'll leave them off, because blimps, I mean, really, blimps are not that good. I was really just doing the blimps just as an extra add-on, just to see how it looks in our city, and just to give our skyline a little bit more of a addition, just something else. This is going to be a little park space through here. It's really nothing special. I really just wanted to put in some pathways, some gazebos, seating areas, planters, things like that. And yeah, it's really not special at all, but I just wanted to make sure that there is one designated space. I chose this area because it is kind of nearby to the hospital, it's nearby to the monorail station, and it's an awkward shape, which makes it a little bit more interesting as well, just to work with the different shape. And all of the other areas, they are a little bit hilly as well. So, and I wanted the park, wherever it's going to be, I wanted it to be a decent size as well. So that's basically all I do for that. So let's move on from that. And I'm not going to show you guys me detailing everything, because that really just takes too long. But yeah, why don't we skip to the end? Let's go to a bit of a night scene and have a look at how our now complete Semivostok has turned out. Doesn't it look so pretty at nighttime? Oh, I just love it. So like I said, the monorail station, I made sure that there's no noise pollution on that. Some of the monorails, they're actually the wrong one, so I'm using the suspended one instead of just the normal one, so don't worry about that. Such a minor detail. This is our larger building area, so along the monorail line, I wanted to put in a lot of larger buildings, just because, they can handle more people. They've got the monorail station there, and it actually looks really, really good. There is our little park that we were doing, and this road here is the road that goes up to the highway, then back down. So we didn't want to add in too many roads and stop signs, give way signs, parking lots, so I didn't want too many cars coming in and out from this road. I wanted it to be a fairly smooth transition coming down, so that's why that's pretty bare. And look at that, it looks so good. Just a very, very typical area. It actually fits in very, very well with the surrounding areas. Similar buildings, similar road waviness and shapes and things like that. This is the highway here, so this is where we've built over the highway, and I've put in a lot of the larger trees to kind of disguise the larger buildings. So if we didn't put any larger trees up here, these larger buildings would pretty much look out of place. I can guarantee that. So larger trees kind of make it blend in a little bit more and make it look less obvious, if that makes sense. At this point, basically everyone is still moving in, so there isn't too much pedestrian activity, there isn't too many cars going around, so it is still going to take time for them to all slowly come in, because I do not have the demand set up really high. But yes, Semivostok is practically done, but I'm still taking other little ideas for extra add-ons, whatever it may be. I know doing a prison is one of those things that you guys have been asking for so long. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon.